Good afternoon, traders. Joseph here from Eightcap. Welcome to this week's Trade Zone weekly wrap up. So, there's been a couple of things this week to go over. Obviously, it's been a pretty exciting week in a few ways. We've had a fair bit of movement, and that's not even really touching on what happened late yesterday with the Japanese yen. So we will we'll go over a few of the key ones. Oil, obviously, we're just gonna have a little bigger a look at oil. Now oil continues to move down heavily, and we'll just take a look at this week, and we can just see how big that bar is. Over 6% this week, as issues around future demand and a few other aspects with the market still continue to play out. And this story will, I think, will continue to be an interesting one. And the further oil goes, the more we will continue to look at OPEC for some sort of support. So we can see now prices below $70. $70 is a bit of a key area. Now, if we get back down to 67, this is an area previously where we've seen plenty of support, and we can see, even those dips below 65. Has attracted action. So we're going to continue to see what happens next. There's a tiny little bit of a fight back rally at the moment, but if we do see a new dip down to 67 down /65 kind of handle area, that's when we're going to start to really start to look and see if there's going to be some movement. Now, I'm not no way, shape or form am I giving any type of advice here, but we can see previously anytime the market's been down in these levels, there has been interest and there has been buying. So definitely keep an eye on the price action around this area, and definitely around this area here. If we do see moves back in with nice tails coming back out, it could be there. There could be some sort of price pattern there to take to have a look at, and possibly incorporate into your trading system. So this is unfortunately we're not allowed to give advice that is sort of as close as we can get to sort of just discussing a potential idea. So definitely watch those levels. Now, moving on, so stocks have also had a very nice week. We saw that single day rally up there, which put in new monthly and yearly highs for the US 30. The SPX500 as well, not so much any getting up to those previous record points there, but we did see a couple of nice moves this week as well, and stocks have continued to see a bit of demand this week. It has been a little bit mixed throughout the middle of the week, but we got very even yesterday we got close to testing some of its weekly highs. The NDX100, similar story, nice support here at 15,782. Got back up close to some areas, but we haven't seen new weekly highs yet. But definitely keep an eye on the NDX100. We do like this bounce off support here. We may do a bit of a write up of it. The moving average is pointing up. We have a beautiful trend higher. That higher low is bounced off a previous point of resistance. We do have a little bit of range resistance up the top here. So if we did see a break of this range resistance here, then we'd look for a new leg up. But I think we'll need a little bit of market influence and momentum, sector momentum support, just to drive that buying and maintain that buying to keep feeding that. So keep an eye on that as well. Now, also moving on to some of the other markets this week. So FX wise, now we saw a little bit of a mixed week from the dollar. So we've seen some nice moves up, and I'll just update this. The Trader 5 at times it doesn't update as quickly as you want it to, but but it's a pretty easy quick fix. So we can see this week here it's been pretty solid for the dollar till yesterday basically, and we've seen that that big decline down. So with that move there, that definitely fed into the drama we saw on the dollar yen, and we'll get to that in a moment. But we can see the dollar's a little bit stable there after moving up. Now it's an interesting situation here. We've had this move down, we've got a new move up, it's broken above the moving average, we've come down, we've got a higher low, and we are seeing a little bit of buying today. I think this low is quite important. If that low gets broken, we could continue to see a bit of a shift. If we see support continue to hold here and a new push back up to test this area at 104.12, that's starting to also tell us that buyers are still pretty involved and are still pretty, pretty happy with the dollar at the moment, and we could continue to see this this up leg turn into something a little bit more like a short to medium term uptrend. So there will need to be a little bit more time though. We need to see a little bit more evidence to sort of support that idea. So at the moment, that's sort of a key area to watch here. If buyers can hold it, if they don't hold it, that starts to tell us something else as well. And then if we do get back up to this level, do we see a break at that level? So just running over some of the risk currencies to the dollar. So the Aussie looks like it's putting in a continuation. So we still have this trend in play. We've got a higher low, a push higher. We really want to see a move back up to test that. Again, this all goes back to the notes and what we just discussed on the USD. And then a break at that point, trend continuation. Here's our trend here. We want to see that continue. And then the euro doesn't look as sweet in terms of price structure really as Aussie, but we have this nice rally, this pullback. I'd like to see a higher low inside here just to really show the buyers are in control. Again, we go back to the dollar notes as well. And for the Great Britain Pound USD, very similar to the Aussie, it has a nice little structure. The retracement isn't too deep. It's nice. We see the bars are in a similar sort of width as each other, and we see that nice higher low here with a bit of a push. Again, as mentioned, referring back to those notes, we need to see this higher low continue to confirm, and we need to see a new push back up to test. Break of that low is not a good sign for buy momentum on the short term. So looking at the ASX 200 this week, we had the RBA rates decision, so rates were on hold. The statement I didn't give too many clues, but we can see the ASX sort of had a decent little day. So I think we're going to be, there is a break from the RBA, and so we won't be seeing another meeting, I believe, until 2024. And we can see a fair bit of buying on the ASX at the moment with the price. The price continuing to move up. I think the resistance level really is going to be around this level here at 72.05, and then we have the next real key resistance up at 73.03. We're going to need a bit more, overall market momentum to get that going. But definitely, if buyers can continue to push this trend, that would be a bit of a target area for them to have a look at. Now, we've got to touch on gold. I'll try this video. I'll try and keep the video as quick as possible. So gold, obviously, we know what it did earlier in the week. It had that massive spike up. Now, I think it was to do with a few things. The dollar obviously coming off, and also ceasefire being broken. It didn't last long. We discussed this on Monday. We went over that. We went over the weekly level on Monday in the weekly outlook video. We did discuss that we wanted to see a close above it. It failed to close above it, so that resistance point still stands. That's at 281.60 area roughly. Now, while that level stays in control, gold continues to basically just be in this big consolidation at this stage. We do have a nice uptrend at this point, but it really needs to to close above this resistance level to resume this trend. So we can see how long and deep this consolidation pattern is here. If the dollar does continue to decline, then maybe that's going to give it a bit more feed. Obviously, other things in the Middle East at the moment as well can potentially going to be driving momentum on the short to medium term as well. But I think a lot is going to come down to buyer demand. The buyers had a red hot crack. They hit new records that failed, and then we saw a very big fade and then a move lower down to 2029. And at the moment, it's still sitting around there. And if we take a look at the daily chart as well, it's trying to get a little rally going, but it's nothing you'd really call home about. It's quite a junky little rally, and there's a lot of ready selling all the way up to 2040.84 on the short term, and then again up to 2072.83 on the the short to slightly more medium term. And then we have obviously that real big push-up fade that we've got absolutely cut down. So we'll just have to see if gold can get back up above and close above that level, and then if this trend can continue to keep going. If we see a break of that low, that's a worry. A close below into that area is definitely a worry for short-term momentum. This is the current real guiding factor at the moment, and you can see how much rejection is there. So once it was reached, it was just shut down straight away, and there was a lot of selling that went through at that stage, all the way taking it all the way back down. So just to give you an idea of that move, it's a very big move, and we're talking over 5%, which is a big move for gold. 5% a big number for gold generally. So now I'm just moving on to the yen. So yesterday the yen went absolutely bananas, and it does look like it was something to do with the Bank of Japan, or there is not a lot on it out there at the moment. I did have a bit of a look. But regardless, the yen jumped, yen futures jumped as well, and we saw some very strong selling against all the major currencies against the yen. So we can see the Aussie here, the euro, and the pound, and selling is continuing today. We are seeing a few lows. The pound, obviously we're seeing a bit of support around this area from 178.50 upwards. The euro to the yen, we're seeing a little bit of demand creeping in at 154.42, but we also see a fair bit more demand around that 152.98 area. And the dollar to the yen, probably saw the most dramatic move, and it was a very deep one. It was all the way to that 3.86% point, which is a very, it's a very big move on a Forex pair. And at the moment, we are seeing a little bit of demand, but we are wondering if that's a blow off. And if it is Bank of Japan related, will that be factored in? And then will we see, recoveries that we have seen previously when we have seen moves like this? So one example, which was not too long ago. Sorry, just give me one moment. Obviously, we had this one here that was chewed up. Obviously, that's a little bit more deeper than that. But we have seen a couple of times when we've seen these really deep, fast, sell-offs, and they have been chewed back up, and we've seen new highs. So we do wonder if this could be some sort of blow-off at the moment, and if we will see, buyers move back into the market, and then how quickly that could occur. So we will be watching these levels here just to see if buyers do start to continue to re-engage, and if that does turn into rallies, and if we have seen something that's a little bit overdone. So now I'm just quickly finishing up. We just want to touch on some of cryptos. Cryptos continue to be a market to keep an eye on. We continue to see some really nice moves. Bitcoin had a wonderful week this week, and the last couple of days not so much, but we can see it's touched 44,504 again, so that's levels not seen in a fair period of time, and we can just see all the way back here. Going back to levels, back in 2022 now, and having a look at Ethereum. So Ethereum was trading higher this morning. It is down a little bit at the moment, but we can see yesterday's session, it went up to 23.84. So again, very strong levels not seen since, going back to, middle 2022. And we can see a really nice breakout there of that range point. So is this a new short to medium / long-term trend? We'll have to see a bit more time, but it's definitely looking good and doing, all the right things at the moment. We've seen some other really strong moves with ADA. This week's had an amazing week as well. Solana as well, early this morning before the changeover, we saw yesterday's session there of, over 7%, and we saw buyers this morning touching, just having a little bit of a touch and a feel, those high 60 or mid 69s. So we do wonder if we're going to see Solana get back to, could it get back to 70 or, into the mid 70s at some stage? And you can see here it's trading well above that breakout. It's starting to break out of that consolidation as well that we sort of talked about on Monday as well. And some of the others, so there's DOT as well. It's had a very strong week. That's Polkadot. And we've seen Doge as well. Doge had a bit of a fade the other day, but it went all the way back up to test that 0.106. And even Ripple as well had a bit of action yesterday, and Ava's continues to just explode. So Ava's looking pretty good. We do want to see it's not reaching some of its previous highs as the others, but in terms of the last few months, what it's been able to do has been really impressive, and we can just see how amazing this trend is. So just measuring that up there, we're talking well over 209%, which is crypto numbers, crazy crypto numbers. So we can just see how amazing that's been for that period, and we'll just have a quick look at that on the monthly. Zoom in on it, so we can just see how amazing this this trend's been for the last couple of months with Ava. And it hasn't really just been Ava. There's been, as we just shown, there's been quite a few coins. So that's what I think is quite interesting about this whole rally at the moment with crypto. Is it's not just Bitcoin. We do know the ETFs that has been driving some of the demand with Bitcoin. That ETF that could be getting approved. But yeah, all coins are sort of back in vogue, and that's, I think, is quite interesting, and is great to see about this current crypto rally, that we are seeing so much demand across the entire boards. And that's, it does take us back to years just passed. So we will see how things continue into 2024. We know that there's a Bitcoin halving coming up, and is this the beginning of something a bit bigger? We don't know yet, but it definitely does look pretty healthy at this stage. So we'll continue to watch that. So without really running out this video too long, I'm not going to really jump into what's the news next week. We'll do that on a Monday as well, but we've got some more key data coming out tonight to end the week, and that's the US employment data. That's the non-farm employment change, average hourly earnings, and the unemployment rate. We also have the prelim UAM consumer sentiment, and we have Chinese CPI coming out Saturday. So these are all Saturday local time for the Australian daylight savings time. So thank you very much. If you've made it to this point and watched the entire video, thank you very much. Appreciate it, and we hope you have a fantastic weekend. I hope everyone out there enjoyed the volatility this week and has had some quality trades, or if things didn't go to plan, I hope it wasn't too devastating, or didn't hurt the accounts too much. We've had a great week, so keep an eye on the yen, keep an eye on oil, keep an eye on stock indices, keep an eye on crypto, gold as well, maybe to a lesser degree, but it definitely, gold really did get people talking earlier in the week. And then we'll see what moves into next week. So again, good trading, have a great weekend, all the best, and bye for now.